Good day, everybody. Welcome to today's video. It's Jerry from BackCountry Wrenching. And no, those parts are not for the TJ. It is time to bring the JK in and start on that project to finalize it and finish it off. Some things I don't like and I'm going to change out. TJ is going to be taking a break for a while. I just got a few small things left and I got to get that out of the garage. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing for my own custom lift kit and explain to you why I'm doing what I'm doing. So you can see some of my goodies I got right here. I'm going with the Core 4x4 link kit. These are the tier 3s. They're heavier duty and they're super heavy actually. These things are thick. So these are the same design that I did with my TJ, where I have a Johnny joint on one end and then a bushing on the other. We also got Rubicon Express adjustable track bar. I went that route mainly because of price, and also it's got a joint at the front that I could easily swap out, and then same with the bushing at the rear. Now I went with Rubicon Express 4.5-inch rear spring because it's going to be stiffer, and I have the tire carrier on the back that's heavy, the TerraFlex tire carrier. I have the auxiliary fuel tank, and I also have the 35-inch tire. So I went with Rubicon Express. And then for the front coil looks really big. It's a Rockstar 4.5-inch triple rate coil, as it says on the box there. Now the big thing with that is that I really want to go 4.5-inch spring in the rear and then 4-inch in the front. But however, because of the situation, I couldn't find a 4-inch lift spring for the JKU, so I kind of have to go 4.5 both sides. So with all the weight, it might sag a little bit. And then I do have the first generation anti-rock on the JK right now, but I bought the new modern version that I'm going to install. Back to this, the Cummins 4BT that had been sitting in my garage for probably 3 years now is going to a new home tomorrow morning. Well, I did have high hopes to do something with the Cummins 4BT, install it in something. However, with the way things are going today, is that if they ever bring in emissions testing, which I figure that's probably going to happen in the next few years, that is not compliant for anything that I own that I could stick it in. That Cummins 4BT has a reconditioned stamp from 1996, so technically anything from 96 and older, it would be emission compliant. Like if I stuck it in my 2014, insurance may have an issue, and if they bring in emissions testing, it's not emission compliant, which means I wouldn't be able to drive it on the road, which I would spend all that money for nothing. So with the way things are, with inflation prices being incredibly high, I decided I'm going to list the Cummins 4BT. It's a super rare engine. I'm going to list it for sale. I'm going to list it higher than what I bought it for. I'm going to see if I get any bites. And sure enough, I had like over 100 people message me. Person came by today, says, yeah, I'll take it. And he's going to pick it up tomorrow morning. He showed me a picture of what he has plans for this. I think he's going to rebuild it and stick it in his vehicle he's been building. I believe it's a 1955 Power Wagon that he's been restoring. And this would be perfect in a Power Wagon for sure. A Cummins 4BT, nice and small. He says he doesn't looking for something a lot of power, Just something that's a diesel, blows a little bit of smoke, and gets him to where he wants to go. And this engine would be perfect, and it's going to a good home instead of just sitting in my garage under a tarp. So now we're going back to the JK parts, and I did find a couple more things that I'm going to do. I forgot about the suspension bushings for the sway bar kit and new bump stops for the rear. Then I realized something. I just noticed it now. The Rubicon Express track bar, it came in a loose package, so the misalignment spacers disappeared. They must have fell out somewhere during shipping. However, that being said, I did have a box of a bunch of joints right there with misalignment spacers. And I got a couple misalignment spacers right there that fit. Those were set up to use with a much larger bolt than what I'm going to need for the track bar. That being said, I am glad that I have my mill. I got some round stock right there. So I may have to machine some misalignment spacers, which takes a little bit of time. It's not going to be a huge deal. It is what it is. This is what happens, and you guys seen this a few times now, and I have started checking the parts recently, but I guess obviously I didn't when I got that track bars. That I always check my parts to make sure that they're all there now when I receive them, because a lot of times I buy things in advance and then I sit on them for a while, and that's another perfect example right there. It's missing a couple of spacers, where if I would have just got the part, I could have contacted them, said, hey, I'm missing the spacers, can you send me some out? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to machine some now. It is what it is. Not a big deal. In the old days, I'd probably get mad and start ranting, swearing, cursing, smash shit, but there's no point in that. So the one thing I am curious about is I wonder if my JKU actually does have a 4-inch lift. Now that being said, this is a 4.5-inch coil, but I want to show you something. It doesn't make sense to me. So I understand there's going to be some compression. So I need to get a little bit more tape measure right there, and you can see right there, uncompressed. I'm about 22.5 inches roughly. So the front coil is 14 inches. So that means there's no way it's compressed 6 inches. There's no way. It's not possible. This is probably like a 3-inch lift. If you look at my TJ is 4.5, and it's on 35s. So you can see the front coil right there and the height compared to the JK, which is on 35s as well. I don't know, it's hard to say. That's the first gen Any-Rock right there. Talk about an ugly turd. The Any-Rock has sure come a long ways. I double checked this to make sure I had all the parts before I packaged this up. I guess we have to wait till we get the springs out and compare them in size. See how close they are. I think the JK's at a perfect height the way it is, but it's a little bit taller. It is what it is. I'll have to take some measurements of the driveline angle and everything else, get that all set up properly, as good as I can. The security camera in the back alley picks up all sorts of things. Look at that coyote there, kind of roaming around. But next morning, I tell you, a little bit of a shocker. I knew the weather's supposed to change, but I didn't expect this much snow and expect the snow to stick. Usually the first snowfall, it just melts as it comes down, but we sure got a dump. tried to heat up I tried to clean off as much snow as I can, but it's so sticky it sticks. So I'm gonna have to put it in here for a few hours and open up the door, drive it out, and squeegee the floor out. Hello, Carmen's. What are you doing? Are you just chilling, Carmen? Do you think I should go to Princess Auto and get these rechargeable work lights? What do you think, Carmen? Do you think there'll be a good buy? Do you? After searching around forever to find the lights, I did finally find them. But I did notice they only have a 3-hour runtime, so I also picked up this Titan LED work light. It's 110 volt, so I always have a backup, and it's nice and small, which is what I like. Alright, it's been a few hours. I drive the Jeep out, squeegee the floor. I ordered these traction pads off Amazon, so we'll see how they're gonna be. From what I hear from people, doesn't matter what brand name you got. If they're super cold, they snap. If you leave them exposed to the sun, they have issues and break. Sometimes they break on the first spin out, so I think these are like 120 bucks. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. Let's open up the door to where the sadness is. The snow. Thought there'd be way more water on the floor. Oh, we're back to that time of year. Gonna have the furnace on. Floor's still wet. What I want to do is need to go through my Jeep and clean it out, reorganize it. So this is where I'm going to try something different. For the last, I guess, couple summers that I own this, I've always ran the Jeep with the rear seats down. And I know you can get like a rear seat delete that has storage, but I'm not ready to go that route yet. So I'm going to run it with the seat up because I actually gain a lot more real estate that way, because this seat's pretty thick. We're probably looking about 4 inches. That would be folded on top of this, so there's less room to the ceiling. And also with the seat folded down, I lose all the real estate right inside here. So there's a lot of things that I could fit in here that I used to pack up here. Like I could put my cot in there, I could put my chair in there, and I could put my roll-up table in there. And then I could probably almost fit my tent in that spot too, depending on which tent I'm taking. I could take my privacy tent. If I was taking my Nemo Storm, I could fit all that in this space over here. Am I losing much room? I don't think so. I'm actually gaining some, because I had to kind of watch how I stacked it, because I didn't want it to fall stuff on the air compressor back there. But now I think this is going to work out. It's kind of dark. Let's try one of these lights I got. It's supposed to be good for 3 hours on a charge. Yeah, lights are pretty good. So now you can see with the seat up, I can pile things back. Don't have to worry about things falling over each other. And it's going to give me a lot more storage for my bins and that. And then I still have this top rack. And I got my paper on the side there. I think this will be good. I think this will be good. It's coming over here to the side where I got the cooler. The only thing I did to make it sit somewhat straight on the seat is I had a little piece of, it's like a 1.5, or what they call that 2x2. Anyways, I just put that block underneath the cooler to make it sit more upright. And I just used a blanket to cover it. I noticed that got an indentation in the back of the seat from the cooler and stuff hitting it. And I can't remember what I have this rope in here for. Maybe some Jeffrey Dahmer shit right there. Want to take a measurement? What are we at? 30.5 for the rear. And then the front is about the same, 30.5. Garage floor is cold. Hate that feeling. As you can see right there, that rear springs are just clapped out. Not gonna be able to see. Can I get a good look at it? You can see from the sway bar, you can see from the bump stop to the axle, there's no more than 6 inches. And when I'd be out in trails, every bump I hit, I'd bottom out. Like I said before, got the auxiliary fuel tank there, you got the main fuel tank there, you got 35-inch tire, you got that Terraflex big tire carrier. That's a lot of weight in the rear end. Oh, I think it's motherfucking beer time. Lots of craft beers in the fridge. Except I don't know what I feel like drinking. I think I'll grab a Rhinestone Cowboy. So the Rhinestone Cowboy is by Big Rock Brewery, local brewery in town. Actually not that far away from where I live. This is a lager coming in light at 4.6%. Alright, cheers everybody. Motherfucking beer time. Oh, shut her down. Shut her down. Okay, time working in JK. Got inside the garage. Actually lost 2 days on this set of days off with selling the Cummins 4BT. Because the Jeep should have went in the garage yesterday. But the guy wanted to come over and see it. And if he decided to buy it, he'd be able to have access to get it out. So that worked out. And then, obviously, with the snowstorm, I'd let the Jeep bring it inside, dry it out. That being said, I know some people are going to be sad and upset that I got rid of the 4BT, but that was a vision I had, and a vision that didn't come to be. And the more I looked at it, the more I figured I'm not going to do anything with it, so I might as well sell it. Because the next thing I want to do is looking at doing an LS swap in the JK. And like I said before, the Cummins 4BT would not be emissions compliant with everything that I own. So if they do bring in emissions testing here, you never know what the way things are going, then it wouldn't be I wouldn't be able to use it. I'd be like off-road only. So it is what it is. And next video going forward, we're going to start on the JK build, get it finished. There's tons of stuff coming in for that. So the JK will probably be here for the next few months. And then, like I said, after these projects are done, I want to spend most of my time in the woods. I sold my ATV after having it since 2007. I sold the Cummins 4BT. I have enough money to either build a trailer or buy an overland trailer. Right now, I am shopping around, see what people have for sale now that it's wintertime. That being said, the recession is coming, and I figure after Christmas in a few months, when the recession hits, I'll probably be able to get myself even a sweeter deal. So I'm going to hold out closer to spring unless something super comes along. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.